Instructor Velrak counted the small heads again. Her 4 eyes moved quickly across the learning pod, and her scales turned a worried shade of yellow. She counted once more. Then again. The number stayed the same every time. 32 cubs had entered the Galactic Education Station that morning. 29 cubs sat before her now. 3 were missing. Her throat made a clicking sound of pure panic. The station held over 40 different species. The corridors stretched for kilometers in every direction. The ventilation shafts alone could swallow a small child and carry them anywhere. And somewhere in this massive floating city of metal and lights, 3 Karathi cubs had wandered away from safety. She pressed her communicator with shaking claws. "Security Chief Tormak, we have a situation. 3 cubs from Learning Pod 7 are missing. Names are Crix, Tala, and Little Brem, all under 10 cycles. Please begin immediate search." The response came fast and sharp. "Understood. Sending teams now. Do you have any idea which direction they went?" Velrak looked at the door that led to the main corridor. Her memory showed her nothing useful. The cubs had been there during the hydration break. Then the lesson started, and they were not. It was that simple and that terrible. "No idea," she admitted. "They could be anywhere." The station went into soft alert. This was not unusual. Cubs went missing on the education decks at least once every few cycles. They usually turned up in the food courts or the observation decks, staring at stars with wide eyes. But the station was also home to cargo bays, engineering sections, and areas where small bodies could get hurt very quickly. Security Chief Tormak sent 6 teams in different directions. Cameras were checked, doors were monitored. The whole system worked together like a living thing, trying to find 3 small heartbeats in its vast body. 20 minutes passed. 30. 45. Velrak paced the learning pod while her remaining students watched with scared eyes. She told them everything would be fine. She told them Crix and Tala and Little Brem were probably just exploring. She told them security was very good at finding lost cubs. She did not tell them about the cargo bay that held industrial chemicals. She did not mention the maintenance tunnels where gravity sometimes failed. She did not speak about the docking ports where ships came and went with careless crews who might not notice 3 small stowaways. Her communicator buzzed. She grabbed it so fast she nearly dropped it. "Instructor Velrak?" It was a voice she did not recognize. Not Tormak. This voice was deeper, rougher, like stones grinding together. "This is Engineer Marcus Webb from the human contingent. I think I have something that belongs to you." Velrak's scales shifted to confused gray. "A human? What do you mean?" "Just come to Corridor 77 Delta, Section 12. Bring your worried heart and maybe a recording device. You're going to want to remember this." The human ended the call before she could ask more questions. Velrak told her assistant to watch the remaining cubs and ran. Her 4 legs carried her fast through the station, past shops and restaurants and sleeping quarters. She dodged around tall Velthari traders and short grumble merchants. She jumped over a cleaning drone and nearly crashed into a group of Stellax tourists. Corridor 77 Delta was on the far side of the station, near the human residential block. Velrak had never been there before. Few non-humans visited that area regularly. Humans were strange creatures. They were new to the galactic community, only 300 cycles since first contact. They were known for being friendly but unpredictable. They laughed at danger and cried at music. They formed bonds with anything that moved and many things that did not. As Velrak turned the final corner, she stopped. Her 4 eyes went wide. Her scales shifted through 5 colors before settling on pure amazement. There, in the middle of the corridor, marched a small parade. At the front walked Little Brem. He was only 6 cycles old. Barely up to Velrak's knee, with soft blue fur that had not yet hardened into adult scales. He held one strap of a large green backpack, pulling it forward with all his tiny strength. Behind him came Tala, 8 cycles and fierce as a storm. She held the other strap, her small face serious with concentration. The backpack was nearly as big as both of them combined, and behind the backpack walked Crix, the oldest, at 9 cycles. He pushed from the back, his little hands pressing against the heavy fabric. His tongue stuck out from the effort. Together, the 3 cubs dragged the massive human backpack down the corridor like they were moving a sacred treasure. Walking beside them, moving very slowly to match their pace, was the human called Marcus Webb. He was a large creature, tall and broad, with dark skin and a thick beard on his face. His eyes watched the cubs with an expression Velrak did not understand at first. Then she recognized it. It was tenderness, pure and simple tenderness. "Ah, you must be the instructor," Marcus said when he saw her. He did not stop walking, and neither did the cubs. They had not noticed her yet. "I found these 3 about an hour ago trying to climb the wall near the observation deck." Velrak's hearts nearly stopped. "Climb the wall?" "They said they saw something beautiful through the window and wanted to get closer. There's a maintenance ladder there behind a panel. They had already gotten the panel open. Very clever little ones." Marcus smiled, showing his flat human teeth. "I was just walking by, heading back from my shift. I stopped them before they could get too far up." "Thank you," Velrak breathed. "The maintenance ladders lead to the outer hull. They could have—" "I know." Marcus nodded. "But they're safe. I sat with them for a while. We talked. They're curious about everything. Wanted to know what was in my bag. I showed them." Velrak looked at the backpack the cubs were so carefully transporting. "And why are they carrying it now?" Marcus laughed. It was a warm sound, like bubbles rising in water. "They found my lunch inside, sandwiches and fruit. I shared with them. After that, they decided we were friends, and friends help friends carry things. That's what Little Brem said." Little Brem chose that moment to look up and see Velrak. His eyes went wide with fear. He knew he was in trouble, but he did not let go of the backpack strap. "Instructor Velrak," he squeaked. "We found a human." "I can see that," Velrak said slowly. She wanted to be angry. She should have been angry. But watching these 3 small cubs work together to carry something for a creature they had just met, she felt something else instead. "He gave us food," Tala added. "Real food, not the paste from the dispensers. It was called a sandwich. 2 pieces of bread with good things inside. He even had something called an apple. It was red and crunchy." "He showed us pictures," Crix said from behind the backpack. "Pictures of his home planet. It has green everywhere and big water that moves. He said it's called Earth." Marcus shrugged when Velrak looked at him. "They asked questions. I answered. That's what we humans do. We share stories." Velrak wanted to scold the cubs. She wanted to lecture them about safety and rules and staying with the group, but the words would not come. Instead, she watched as Brem strained against the backpack strap, determined to help his new friend. "Why are you carrying his bag all the way to the human section?" she finally asked. Brem looked at her like the answer was obvious. "Because he was tired. He worked all day fixing things in the engine room. His shoulders hurt. We wanted to help." "It's very heavy," Tala added proudly. "But we are strong." Marcus knelt down beside them, moving carefully so he would not startle them. "You know, you don't have to carry it the whole way. My quarters are just around that corner. I can take it from here." "No," Brem said firmly. "We started, so we finish. That's what friends do." Marcus looked at Velrak with something like wonder in his eyes. "Are all Karathi cubs like this?" "They are very loyal when they choose to be," Velrak admitted. "Once they decide someone is worth caring about, they do not let go easily." "Neither do humans," Marcus said softly. They walked together down the remaining corridor, the three cubs pulling and pushing the heavy backpack with complete determination. Other humans emerged from their quarters to watch. They leaned against door frames and smiled. A few of them made soft, cooing sounds that seemed to be expressions of affection. When they finally reached Marcus's door, the cubs carefully set the backpack down. Their small arms trembled with exhaustion, but their faces glowed with pride. "Delivery complete," Crix announced. Marcus reached into his pocket and pulled out 3 small objects. They were round and golden, wrapped in shiny paper. On Earth, we have a tradition. When someone does something kind, we give them a gift. These are called chocolates. They are sweet. The cubs looked at Velrak for permission. She hesitated, then nodded. Human food was generally safe for Karathi, and the cubs had already eaten the sandwich without problems. Each cub took a chocolate. They unwrapped the paper carefully, revealing the brown treasure inside. They bit into them together, and 3 sets of eyes went wide with pure joy. "This is the best thing I have ever eaten," Tala declared. "I want to live with the humans forever," Brem announced. Marcus laughed again. "You're welcome to visit any time, but I think your instructor needs to take you back now. You have learning to do." He looked at Velrak. There was an understanding between them now. The cubs had found something today. Not just a human, not just chocolate, but a lesson they would carry for the rest of their lives. Kindness could cross species. Friendship could bloom in strange places. And helping others, even when it was hard, was always worth the effort. "Thank you," Velrak said, "for finding them, for caring for them." Marcus waved his hand. "They found me, really. I was just a human with a heavy bag and a lunch to share. They did all the rest." As Velrak led the 3 cubs back toward Learning Pod 7, she heard them chattering behind her. They were planning their next visit to Marcus. They were discussing how they could bring him a gift in return. They were wondering what other things humans kept in their bags. She did not stop them. Some lessons were not taught in learning pods. Some lessons walked up to you in a corridor and offered you a sandwich. Some lessons had dark skin and kind eyes and laughed like bubbles in water. When they returned to the pod, the other cubs surrounded Brem and Tala and Crix with questions. The 3 adventurers sat in the center like heroes returning from a great journey, which, in a way, they were. That evening, Velrak filed her report. She marked the incident as resolved without injury, but in the personal notes section she added something extra. "Today I learned why the humans have spread so quickly across the galaxy. It is not their technology or their numbers. It is simpler than that. They share, they care. They turn strangers into friends with nothing but kindness and patience. And once they bond with you, they do not let go. The cubs saw this in less than an hour. It took me 40 cycles to understand. Perhaps we have more to learn from humanity than we ever imagined." The next day, 3 Karathi cubs arrived at the learning pod with a small box of Karathi sweets. They asked permission to deliver them to their friend Marcus in the human section. Velrak granted it. She even walked with them, just to be safe. And this time, she stayed for the chocolate.